What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Rockness Reacts, and I'm back again with another video. Why am I standing up? I don't know. But in today's video, we're going to be reacting to part 2 of the Jeffrey Epstein case. We were 20 minutes in the first video, so we're going to finish the rest of the video. Psych, I lied. We're going to do part 2 of it, probably another 20 minutes, and then we'll have a part 3. Why am I staying? I still don't know. My camera's acting weird, and my seat keeps going. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get straight into the reaction. Okay, so boom. So here is where we did start off about 23 minutes into the video. So let's just continue.
You know, this is
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
That would honestly be amazing. Imagine building anything just by thinking about it. We would have amazing things to our lives if a lot of people who had great ideas, you know, were able to create their ideas. Give me one moment. And these dogs outside over here crying. Why are y'all crying? Like, fuck. Okay, let's
This
continue.
is what we know. Imagine what we don't. And those are the doors we want to see open. Because,
I'm gonna back up a little bit.
This is what I can't even, it's so corrupt and this is what we know, you know? This is public information. This is what we know. Imagine what we don't. And those are the doors we want to see open. Because for someone who federal prosecutors believed had trafficked dozens of children, this was an extraordinarily lenient sentence, to say the least. But the real scandal was what else the agreement included, which was immunity for 4 named co-conspirators and any unnamed potential co-conspirators, effectively protecting his entire network, which is insane. So anybody that was involved...
Right, let me do a quick recap. So before this section part of the video, we kind of went through like the beginning of his lifetime, like from where he was born, Brooklyn, New York, and then how he got up, going through like apparently teaching all these very wealthy kids, people's kids. And then now he started getting a lot of connections from people, and then he started this underground thing, like where this billionaire or millionaire gave him land, and then he's using that. He has cameras everywhere, restrooms, bedrooms, every single place in that building. And then he would have a lot of famous people coming in. I'm assuming a lot of the video camera is footage for blackmail. That's why a lot of people have not been coming out with their sides of the story. Regarding the information that she's saying, I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure she's talking about how like some documents have been passed, even under investigation, how the police and like investigators have just swept it under the rug and didn't even like attack the case as it should have been. And yes, that's what she's basically kind of talking about. Just a quick little recap on what's going on, in case you haven't watched the part 1.
In this, anybody who trafficked these children were just let off. They said, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's not a big deal. You guys, we'll just shove it under the rug. The people won't talk about it. It'll be fine. Maybe a day or two, and then it'll be fine. I'm talking about it. Who the are those billionaires you're protecting? And there was no notification to victims before the deal was struck. And it was a requirement that the agreement remain secret and had protection from all federal charges. And the most explosive claim about this deal comes from a single third-hand source. Reporter Vicky Ward has stated that an unnamed White House official told her that when Alex Acosta was being vetted for his cabinet position in 2017, he allegedly reportedly, told members of Donald Trump's transition team, quote, "I was told Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone." However, Acosta himself has never confirmed this quote, and a 2020 Department of Justice review found no evidence supporting claims that Epstein was an intelligence asset. This was just something that was apparently said that people apparently forgot about, or he doesn't recall it. So all I can say is that's just allegedly. I gotta be really careful with this stuff. But if it was true, would that make sense? Wouldn't it? But regardless of the intelligence claims' veracity, this statement...
I want to introduce you to this platform called SimilarWeb. They've kindly sponsored this video. It allows me to steal my competitor's data.
If true, again, should have been front page news. Literally everywhere. But instead, it was largely ignored by mainstream media. It's almost like media is controlled by people higher up and more elite and billionaires, and that we can't do anything about it. Everything's just kind of fallen into pieces, or should I say falling apart, for them specifically. So after his release in 2009, Epstein did not lay low. Despite being a registered sex offender, he continued to move in elite circles, continued to receive funding from wealthy associates, and according to later investigation, continued to abuse young women and girls. And he maintained his lavish life with homes in Manhattan, Palm Beach, the Virgin Islands, New Mexico, and Paris. And his private island in the Virgin Islands, known locally as, quote, Bile Island, was equipped with a mysterious temple-like structure and reportedly wired throughout with, you guessed it.
I do apologize about outside. My neighbor's dogs will not shut the fuck up. So yeah.
Hidden cameras. Because what do cameras do? Record. And what can you do with recordings of crimes? Blackmail. And who's committing these crimes? The elite and billionaires. And who can control these people? We don't quite know that exactly yet, but it's all
the person who has the evidence of the video footages.
Again, just a rabbit hole of horror. So Epstein continued to receive hundreds of millions of dollars from wealthy associates, including Leon Black, the billionaire co-founder of Apollo Global Management. And Senate Finance Committee investigations have revealed that between 2012 and 2017, Black paid Epstein $170 million, $12 million more than Apollo's board investigation had identified. And these payments included $56.5 million in 2013, $70 million in 2014, and $30 million in 2015, ostensibly for tax and estate planning services, despite Epstein lacking relevant professional licenses, aka probably wasn't for estate tax and planning. Yeah. And the U.S. Virgin Islands' $62 million settlement with Leon Black in exchange for criminal immunity explicitly acknowledged that, quote, Jeffrey Epstein used the money Black paid him to partially fund his operations in the Virgin Islands. And this provides official confirmation of how Epstein's consulting fees supported his criminal enterprise. So they just said they were paying for something legal-ish, but he was actually just using it to fund his pedo ring, essentially. And on top of all that, major financial institutions also failed in their oversight. Because Bank of America waited 7 years to report suspicious transactions to the Treasury Department, while multiple banks continued processing large transfers despite Epstein's sex offender status. Which again, more people in charge that are just sending all the red flags of why wouldn't they report that? It's pretty weird. And meanwhile, investigative journal...
I am so sorry. Give me one moment. Hey, shut up! Why are you barking? I'm trying to record. Shaking my head.
Journalist Julie Brown at the Miami Herald was building the case that would eventually bring Epstein down. And her, quote, perversion of justice series exposed how the 2008 deal had cheated his victims out of justice and identified approximately 80 survivors of Epstein's abuse. And the public outrage from Brown's reporting eventually led to federal prosecutors in New York reopening the case against Epstein because too many people knew now. Now they actually had to do something about it. Crazy how that works. Which it actually is crazy how that works because that shouldn't be the case. Criminals should be held accountable for what they do, whether one person knows it or...
Hey, video creator, we know you. For you, it's
I'm getting way too many ads. What the fuck is going on?
about more than getting the job done.
Like,
a billion people know it.
Breaking news, billionaire Jeffrey Epstein arrested on new sex trafficking charges. The accusations date back to the 2000s and involve alleged crimes in New York and Palm Beach, Florida.
So on July 6th,
he built like a pencil. What the fuck?
2019, Jeffrey Epstein was arrested at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey after returning from Paris on his private jet. But this time, the charges were federal: sex trafficking of minors and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking. So Epstein, obviously, pleaded not guilty, but was denied bail, thank God. And U.S. District Judge Richard Berman ruled that Epstein posed an extreme flight risk and danger to the community. And he would be housed at a Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan, a federal facility that typically holds high-profile defendants awaiting trial. So on July 23rd, Epstein was found semi-conscious in his cell with injuries to his neck. And prison officials said it appeared to be a end-of-life attempt, though some speculated he had been attacked. This is where we're getting into conspiracy territory soon, but I'm only going to state the facts, and then you can do with that what you will. All right. But as a result of all that, he was placed on the end-of-life watch. But 6 days later, only 6 days after he did an attempted end of life, psychological staff removed Epstein from the end-of-life watch following a psychiatric examination of sorts, and he was returned to a special housing unit where protocol required that he have a cellmate and be checked on every 30 minutes. And conveniently, these protocols were not followed on the night of August 9th to 10th in 2019. And the DOJ Office of Inspector General's June 2023 report, based on 127,000 documents and 54 witness interviews, confirmed multiple Bureau of Prisons policy violations. That's insane and extremely suspicious. So on August 9th, Epstein's cellmate was transferred and no replacement was brought in, like it said it had to do. That was violated. And then the guards assigned to check on him that night, Tova Knoll and Michael Thomas, fell asleep at their desk and spent time browsing the internet while falsifying over 75 log entries covering approximately 8 hours. Violation and suspicious. The security cameras positioned outside Epstein's cell also conveniently malfunctioned that same night. And at 6:30 a.m.
Whoa. What? What? Wait. Okay, somebody's definitely behind this. Those two black people probably took some bread to say that they did not see anything. To be honest, I'm disappointed in them. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm actually disappointed in them. You should not let somebody like that slide. Like, maybe if they did some like little petty shit, like maybe let them slide for like a log or two. But like kids, bro, kids being trafficked, like literally, like that's actually insane. All of a sudden, false entry logs, these two black folks knocked out scrolling through social media. Bitch, do your job. Third, security footage all of a sudden got messed up during that same day, around the same time. What is going on?
On August 10th, guards found Jeffrey Epstein hanging in his cell, and he was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital at 6:39 a.m. And the official
Do you think he gave him a tip? He killed himself there? Do you think he gave the guards a tip to not say anything and like just like let him do it. Because now that I'm thinking about it, they're the type to be like, yeah, you gotta go. Like, he just took himself to hell by himself. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he was already going there, and then he killed himself. So now he's going there, and then now he's there. Like, he's there. So
autopsy would rule it a end of life by hanging. But Dr. Michael Baden, a forensic pathologist hired by Epstein's family to observe the autopsy, later stated that the injuries to Epstein's neck were more consistent with homicide by strangulation than end of life by hanging, because Baden pointed to 3 fractures.
Whoever killed him, I don't support it, but I don't blame you.
In Epstein's neck, including a broken hyoid bone, which he said was, quote, extremely unusual in end-of-life hangings. However, Baden himself cautioned that his observations were, quote, not conclusive, and the NYC medical examiner maintained the end-of-life ruling. So do with that information what you will. Multiple official investigations by the FBI, DOJ, OIG, and medical examiner have all upheld the determination of end of life, despite the extremely unusual circumstances, extremely suspicious unusual circumstances. And the guards, Noel and Thomas, were initially charged with falsifying records and conspiracy, but prosecutors dropped all charges against them in December of 2021. After they completed community service and cooperation agreement.
They got bread, they got money.
How convenient, yet again. Right. So no one has ever been held truly accountable for the institutional failures that allowed Epstein's death to occur. So again, just...
Hitting your goals has nothing to do with discipline. The real culprit is friction, and it slowly erodes your progress. Unlike what
Actually, he just lied to you. Hitting your goals has everything to do with discipline. Just keep going. Consistency. Stay disciplined.
Unbelievable and insane. So with Epstein dead, allegedly, I don't know anything at this point. Attention turned to his co-conspirators, primarily Ghislaine Maxwell. And she largely retreated from social functions by late 2015 and was rarely seen in public after 2016. And after Epstein's July 2019 arrest and August 2019 death, the search for Maxwell became a multi-month operation involving electronic and financial tracing and surveillance and informants. They were dead set on getting her, which is, again, like, nobody's been doing anything at this point to get any sort of justice. So the fact that they're going so hard for Ghislaine, it just sends all the red flags up. Like, she has all the information. She's like the top dog other than Epstein, who's now dead apparently. So I can't even imagine the atrocities that she has seen or committed for her to go into hiding in a multi-million-dollar mansion, which I'll get to, and then be caught by the U.S. government. Once you go in this rabbit hole, you can't come out. So investigators tracked her through encrypted communications and an all-cash real estate transaction, which is multi-million dollars, through an LLC. And they discovered that she had used a phone registered to GMAX and was linked to a remote multi-million-dollar residence in New Hampshire purchased in December of 2019. Weird timing. And she was tracked there through an entity that concealed the buyer. She really didn't want to be found or face any sort of consequences for the atrocities she committed. And the property, which was dubbed the, quote, tucked away, it's like they're just like laughing at our faces, you know? Just like all these little just innuendo, like these little sayings,
demons,
and names, and these, it's like they put it right in your face, like a joke. But anyway, the tucked away house was surrounded by forest and offered limited sight lines. So on July 2nd of 2020, the FBI and local law enforcement executed a coordinated arrest operation at the Bradford, New Hampshire property. And according to the arrest affidavit, Maxwell initially retreated deeper into the house when agents arrived, which is crazy. You have the FBI at your house and you're still trying to get away like a fucking dumpster rat running away from fire. But during the arrest, agents found a phone wrapped in foil on a desk described as a, quote, a seemingly misguided effort to evade detection. She wrapped this phone up in tinfoil so they wouldn't detect where she was. It didn't work, but she tried. So Maxwell was arrested, and she was charged in United States versus Maxwell with multiple counts, including conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors to engage in illegal sex acts, transportation of a minor with intent to engage in illegal sex acts and trafficking of a minor, and conspiracy to commit sex trafficking of minors. That's, again, insane and disgusting. Just a vile human being. There's no argument that she wasn't a massive part of this. Like, just because she's a woman, she couldn't be capable of this, or because Epstein had this on it. No, it was literally, she was a monster, and she was in this life before, and she continued into it because it was extremely profitable, and probably because she was a disgusting sadist, just as much as Epstein and all the other billionaire elites that we don't know the names of that committed all these things. And also, 2 perjury counts from 2016 civil depositions were severed for separate proceedings. So Judge Allison J. Nathan denied Maxwell's bail requests repeatedly in 2020 and 2021, finding her an acute flight risk given her access to significant resources, multiple citizenships, which was US, UK, France, and demonstrated ability to live in secrecy. She could live like a secret agent, basically. And Maxwell's jury trial began in November of 2021 in the Southern District of New York. And the prosecution's case included testimony from 4 accusers, 3 using pseudonyms, Jane, Kate, and Carolyn, and Annie Farmer using her real name, who described in the 1990s to 2000s and Maxwell's direct involvement in recruitment, grooming, and facilitation. So the prosecution presented corroborating physical and documentary evidence, including flight logs, photos of Maxwell and Epstein, household manuals, phones and address books, travel and property records, and staff testimony showing Maxwell's managerial control over everyone. And after approximately 5 days of deliberations on December 29th, 2021, the jury found Maxwell guilty on 5 of 6 counts, including sex trafficking of minor and related conspiracies. And she was acquitted on 1 count of enticement of a minor. That's 1 minor. All the other ones guilty, which I don't know how she got off on that one, but
if you were detained at any San Bernardino juvenile detention facility, such as High Desert or Gilbert Street,
This is the money glitch that
I don't know anything at this point. So on June 28th, 2022, Judge Nathan sentenced Maxwell to 20 years imprisonment and imposed a $750,000 fine. But here's what's remarkable about the trial. Because despite evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to other powerful men, despite testimony about his relationship with princes and presidents and billionaires, not a single other person was charged. And Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking, but apparently trafficking victims to no one else besides Epstein? Where were all these children being trafficked to? All of them were to Epstein, even though we have flight logs of tons of elites going to that island. It's strange, no? Right. It's strange, yes. And this has left many victims and their advocates extremely frustrated. Because as one victim's attorney put it, quote, "How do you traffic children to nobody?" Following sentencing, the Bureau of Prisons initially designated Maxwell to FCI Tallahassee, a low-security federal facility for women in Florida. And if that wasn't bad enough, a development that has outraged Epstein's victims and just the general public,
I guess because she's not a physical threat.
Like you and me, Ghislaine Maxwell was transferred on August 1st, 2025 to federal prison camp Bryan in Texas, a minimum security, quote, camp that houses other high-profile white-collar criminals. And this placement violated Bureau of Prisons guidelines requiring sex offenders to serve at least low-security facilities. But Maxwell received a special waiver. And federal prison camp Bryan has been nicknamed, quote, Club Fed for its extremely relaxed conditions. She's basically at a day spa. She trafficked children. I can't wrap my head around it. But if you want a picture of what this place is like, this horrible place, inmates sleep in dormitory-style housings, have access to yoga classes and puppy training programs, and various recreational activities. If you see pictures of it, it's crazy. She's like happy, smiling, she's having a good time. And some areas of the facility don't even have fences. So inmates could literally walk away if they chose to. And what's really interesting, or I would say suspicious, is that the transfer came just days after Maxwell met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche for 9 hours over July 24th to July 25th in 2025 at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Tallahassee. And during these sessions, under limited proffer immunity, Maxwell answered questions about, quote, about 100 different people. And according to her lawyer, reportedly providing information about Jeffrey Epstein and people associated with him. And Blanche, who previously served as Trump's criminal defense attorney, was confirmed as the 40th Deputy Attorney General on March 5th, 2025. Weird. So the timing of Maxwell's prison transfer occurring approximately 1 week after her extensive cooperation with the DOJ has raised questions about whether Maxwell received preferential treatment in exchange for information, even as officials have not publicly tied the move to cooperation. It's just all, you read about it, it's really there. Like it's all there, you know? I mean, not all of it, quite literally, I'd say probably 1% of it's there. But even just the 1%, 1% and how horrifying it all is, I can't even imagine what's behind each door to find out Epstein's list and everybody involved and how it's all controlled and the blackmail involved and all these. I mean, we're going to get into more, but it's just scary. It's very, very scary. And for the families of Epstein's victims.
All right, so we're going to stop the video right there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. This is part 2 of about the Epstein case. A lot of information there, I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot going on. So boom, we did continue throughout the Epstein case, where he killed himself in the cell. Apparently nobody knew what happened, how it happened, which was kind of weird. This lady, huge involvement in the sex trafficking of kids to Epstein, taking them to the island, recruiting more, just getting a lot of people, and she got the bare minimum. She did most of the work in this whole situation, and she got the bare minimum. She's going to camp. She's going to camp. Living in dorms, day to day, living her life like she did not just do all of those sinister and bad things. Like, it's actually insane. But I hope you guys did enjoy watching this video. We're going to watch the last part on the next video, part 3. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's end the 4th quarter of the year great. Let's finish well, let's finish strong, and you guys have a good one. Peace.